Welcome back. The federal government has called for urgent protection of its citizens in South Africa following the killing of 2 Nigerians in separate incidents. The victims, identified as Amaramiro Emmanuel and Ekpeyong Andrew, reportedly died under controversial circumstances involving South African security personnel. One of the victims is said to have died after an alleged assault by members of the South African military, while the other was arrested by Metro Police and later found dead in a mortuary. Reacting to the incidents, the Nigerian government has strongly condemned the killings and is demanding a full investigation. Officials are also calling on South African authorities to ensure the safety of Nigerians and other foreign nationals living in the country. The latest developments have raised fresh concerns over xenophobic violence in South Africa, where foreign nationals have often been targets of attacks and harassment. This is a very, very, very unfortunate situation. Now, I would have to be very direct with this question, Mr. Olubani. How should Nigeria recalibrate its foreign policy to better protect citizens in high-risk environments?
First of all, xenophobia is people of the same race, as opposed to racism, who are discriminating against each other. In this case, the South Africans who are blacks like us are discriminating against fellow blacks from other countries. And this discrimination could be in different forms: economic, socio-political, or outright hatred for another black man for no just cause. So, in the circumstances that we find ourselves, the Nigerians being discriminated against, conforming with South African law. I'm not saying this as a justification for anything that the South African government or its people have done in taking the lives of 2 Nigerians. It's not a justification. But we must always live within the laws of the host country that Nigerians, find themselves. Second thing is that we must demand accountability, as the government has demanded an investigation. And in the event that the investigations are not transparent, the investigations are not concluded, and persons who may have committed those acts, even South African security officials, are not brought to book, there is a need for Nigeria to look at its foreign policy obligations to the South African government and its people, and either reduce our diplomatic representation there and in a way find a way to reciprocate without necessarily taking the lives of South Africans in Nigeria or destroying their property, to express our displeasure and our condemnation for whatever has happened to our citizens in South Africa.
Thank you very much. Justice Ojienoh, there was a report I was reading, and shops were looted, raided in South Africa. All the books were intact. Not one single book was stolen. Now, is the chaos more than what we think it is? We know that this is not going to blow away anytime soon, because the strength with which these people are out on the streets to force people out of their country is so intense. Now, what magnitude of chaos are we really looking at here? Because we know that so many other foreign nationals are looking for where to hide to save their heads from, this unfortunate incident.
Okay, for me, I think it's much bigger. Your question is about magnitude. It's much bigger than what we are seeing. It is only what makes it to reportage that can get here. So
you're saying the leaders of South Africa are also overwhelmed with the situation?
I don't want to think that they are just merely overwhelmed. I think they are complicit.
Okay.
I think they are complicit. Because if they do not want it to happen, they will better manage it.
But as against the IRIM, they are not even attacking the whites. It's just the blacks they're after.
Yes, and I'm saying the government of South Africa is complicit because I think they are not doing well by their people, and they are seeing this as a distraction. And this is not the first time it's happening. We also had our own Ghana must go in Nigeria, where we're thinking that once we force the Ghanaians out, we'll be better, our lives will suddenly transform. It happened in Uganda too. When it happened in Uganda, it happened in Zimbabwe too. Idi Amin Dada expelled the Indians when his people were pressuring him because he wasn't even delivering on the economics of things. Zimbabwe too. And it's part of the reasons why Zimbabwe is presently where they are. And that is why, as much as possible, the government should be alive to its responsibility. The people should know. The fact that you are expelling Nigerians or any other person that is practically kin to you will not make your life better. It will, you breed a bigger monster.
All right.
Once the FDI leaves, no country can essentially survive, not even the US.
Mr. Lugbani, quickly.
Yes.
He said something that's quite sensitive now. It's possible this situation happening right now is like a political distraction. Do you agree with that?
I agree 100% because what we're experiencing now is not the first time it has happened. And so the first time was a rehearsal for those who are perpetrating these crimes and taking the lives of innocent Nigerians. The government of South Africa should have been better prepared for incidents that would occur, along the line as what is going on right now. So if they are not on top of the situation, there's a very strong likelihood that there's not only complicity, but there may actually be connivance.
Well, before we round off, as a means of us not playing down the situation, the echoes and the cries have always been about Nigerians coming to take their jobs. And when they actually face Nigerians to make this argument, they also add the women. So I'm wondering, what is going on? I mean, other foreign nationals, they tell them, leave our country, you've come to take our jobs. When it comes to Nigerians, they make it double. You come to take our jobs, you come to take our women. So exactly where do you think the government should really draw the line to really save the heads of Nigerians there in 30 seconds?
Is it the South African government or the Nigerian government? Okay, the Nigerian government should do better by its people. We should be strong economically. Once we are stronger if we are stronger economically, there will be less reason for the average Nigerian to want to seek greener pastures, in quotes, in another place.
Mr. Lugbani, so that it doesn't look as if we're not really holding the conversation to where it's supposed to be, is it possible to have quarters where foreign nationals should stay in these countries to avoid conflict?
That would be some form of discrimination that is contrary to international law. Okay. And you cannot segregate your guests, people who visit your country. We have
foreign guests in Nigeria now, where some of them stay in certain quarters, especially in Lagos, where we know that, okay, they are protected here. Yes. And maybe that could have been as a result of the diplomatic agreement that we want our citizens well protected in your country and all of that. Can't we have the same, structure?
I think it's a viable suggestion that the Nigerian government should explore with the government of South Africa as a way of safeguarding the lives and properties of Nigerians. And there must be guarantees, extracted from the South African government. And if there's not enough compliance to ensure the safety and welfare of Nigerians in South Africa, Nigeria is not, or South Africa is not above economic and other sanctions from Nigeria.
All right, now before we round off, we have businesses, South African businesses here. Should we also start making demands for them to sit up so as to not make it look like it's a one-sided battle? Because if you are destroying our businesses over in your country and your businesses are thriving well and safe here, does that not bring us to the table to have a conversation? I
don't think we should escalate to that point yet.
Right. I'm saying a conversation, I'm not saying retaliation. Yeah? I'm saying having a conversation, not a retaliation.
Definitely. I learned that their High Commissioner was summoned not too long ago. So I feel that those demands should be impressed upon them. And upon them failing to deliver on those demands, then we can actually levy significant sanctions against them. Nigeria is still a giant in Africa in a manner of speaking, even though some Nigerians don't like that kind of statement.
Justice Ojienoh, it's a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you.
The apartheid struggle was largely funded by countries like Nigeria, financially, morally, and even militarily.
Yeah. Hope we'll have time to have this conversation again, because this is very interesting. Bwana Lugbani, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you. And of course, Justice Ojienoh, it's always a pleasure having you talk to us. All right. Well, and that's our show for today. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG using the hashtag Newsweek. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com